because we're just getting going. Hi, Marcy. Hi, Liberty. Hi, everybody else who's watching. I am your Kevin Lee Sharkley. Kevin Lee Sharker. Kevin Lee Shark. Kevin Lee Jaws. Kevin Lee Friend. Fiend. Whatever. Super busy day, which is good. Not complaining at all. Super busy evening up ahead. Several voiceovers to record, and I gotta go videotape myself playing hockey at 10:15 in the middle of the valley here in Los Angeles. So busy evening. Got to take the studio down because the TBD Studios is being shown tomorrow. So all of this is coming down in just a few minutes. This is a Trump interview from a couple of days ago on SnoozeMax, and we are going to watch a little bit of that. It is about 50 minutes long. Let's see how long it takes us to get through it.
Thank you both very much. Thank you.
Mr. President, before we
you're welcome, and there's just one of me.
Before we get started, I got to personally say thank you for
the
White
cares.
House officials. What do you think about General Milley's actions?
By the way, we're watching this through the use of fair use. We are commenting on it. We are reacting to it. These are all allowed on YouTube. You guys are reacting to it, and I've created a town square. So, fair use, political figures that are somewhat relevant. Boy, by the way, he put out a tremendous statement today praising the 1-6 rioters. You know, the ones who tried to overturn the election. They're very special. We love you. Go home in peace.
So first of all, if it is actually true, which is hard to believe, that he would have called China and done these things and was willing to...
Milley talks to his counterparts in China, Russia, many other countries all the time. That's part of his job. That's what he does. He doesn't order the military around. That's his job as chief. He doesn't actually tell people, go shoot that guy. He's part of the Pentagon sort of State Department quasi-liaison.
Who advised them.
Hi, Christopher. Hi, at Random. Hi, Jojo.
Them of an attack or in advance of an attack. That's treason. And I would think, I've had so many calls today saying...
That is not treason. Treason is defined in the Constitution. Treason is aiding and abetting your enemy while you're at war. The penalty for which is death. We're not at war with China. Remember, President Trump shared with President Xi some of the greatest chocolate cake you've ever seen. And then shared with him classified information, and then bombed Syria while he was having dinner with the best chocolate cake. Oh, and then called it Iraq.
That's treason.
Hi, Allison.
Number
Hi,
one.
Cindy.
Number two, it's totally ridiculous. I never thought of it. You were there. You knew what was happening in the White House. You have plenty of friends. You never heard the word China mentioned in a thing like this. You heard a lot of anger about China on trade, and we made a great trade deal. You heard a lot of anger on China with the China virus. But for him to say that I would even think about attacking China, I think he's trying to just get out of his incompetent withdrawal out of Afghanistan. The worst.
No way to get out of that, and that was your withdrawal, sir. You negotiated the withdrawal with the Taliban. You set the conditions with the Taliban. That was you. Then you bragged about it. Remember that Nobel Peace Prize you wanted to win?
The dumbest thing that anybody's seen, probably the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to our country. With
you, yes. All of that. I forget what you were talking about before this, but just that little snippet of what you just said, 100%.
They killed our soldiers. We left.
Hi, Denise.
With embarrassment on our face. We left Americans behind.
Embarrassment on our face? Oh, no.
And we left $85 billion worth of the best equipment in the world
that you gave them.
Bought because...
Yeah, you bought it. He's taking credit for it. He bought it and gave it to the Afghan military thinking, hey, you guys have tremendous esprit de corps. That's what he said. We have it on tape. Him saying the Afghan army has tremendous esprit de corps, and that Afghan army threw down those $85 billion worth of weapons and ran away.
Because I was the one that rebuilt our military, and then Biden gave it away. For him to...
No, Biden didn't give it away.
Say that I was going to attack China is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and everybody knows it. And I have to tell you, I don't know if they have him on tape saying this, but I found Woodward and I found his cohorts to be extremely dishonorable people. That's why I didn't do an interview with him. I think
he did many interviews. Remember, we have him on tape saying that he played the virus down. Those are interviews with Bob Woodward. We have Bob Woodward telling him that he was going to lose the election because of COVID in August, and I believe it was August, could have been September, and Trump just not fathoming it. Like, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not America. Yeah, sir, it's a really big deal. That's more of a Chris Wallace. Sir, if I may.
Highly overrated. This guy is one of the most overrated guys. He's a sleaze. But I did not ever think of attacking.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and he's a sleaze. Okay. Who put him there, sir?
Back in China. One other thing. I just read a report about a week ago where they said Donald Trump was the only president in decades that didn't start a war.
You didn't just read that report. You've been saying that for a year. You just read a report the other day. He likes to do that. He'll say something, and then a little while later, he starts attributing it to something he read or something that somebody, a very famous person, said. But he won't say who that famous person is. One time, he said that it was Blackstone, the CEO of the Blackstone Group. And then the CEO's office came out and said no. He had no discussion with Mr. Trump like that at all.
Exactly.
Mr. President, in response to you saying that this is treason, General Milley's actions, would you...
I don't know what show this is. This is like Sean Spicer and then somebody else who's very bold, wearing yellow cream while being blonde. It's a choice.
You have fired him if you're still president?
Well, if I would have thought, he's been there a long time. He's been in the military a long time. But I got to know a lot of generals. We have some great generals. You know, I took out ISIS, as you know, al-Baghdadi. I mean,
They did not take out ISIS because ISIS X, it just killed 13 Americans. So, no, you didn't take out ISIS.
We did a thing that nope.
What's the name of the show? Spicer and Co? Spicer and Co. Spicer and Co. Co-host, maybe?
Nobody's ever been able to do with the leadership, and you know all the leaders that we're talking about because you wrote about them. We took them out. We took out the ISIS, 100% of the ISIS caliphate, which is much tougher to do than Afghanistan. I wanted out of Afghanistan. We had a good agreement. They had to meet a lot of conditions. They wouldn't meet them, and we bombed the hell out of them. And they'd call and they'd say, "All right, we'll meet them."
No. There was no bombing the hell out of them.
And in
the agreement took place in February 28th or 29th of last year. Couldn't have been 29th. It was a leap year.
18 months.
Aha, Encyclopedia Brown. You've cracked the case.
Not one American soldier was killed. I had to talk.
Be here right.
It could have been the 29th because it was a leap year. I walked out of there with Encyclopedia Brown all over my face. Where are we?
But I found Woodward, and I found
a
soldier was killed. I had to talk to the Oval Office. I want every bolt. I want every nail.
So this is, you can just jump around in a Trump interview, and it's one sentence just leads right into the other one. It's all nonsense. Hey, Rich Mac, haven't seen you in forevers. Here, so let's just do that. This is Trump. We don't even know what he's talking about here, but let's just jump around.
I want every screw. I want with victory. We were going to get out with we were going to be so proud of that whole thing.
Academy. If you ran,
you know, he was going to be the great unifier. Doesn't mention BLM, who killed people over the summer. You know, they killed a lot of people. They killed our soldiers. We left with embarrassment.
Statutory board.
Afghan refugees.
Damn it.
Now, Afghanistan, surrounded by China and Russia and all these, it's their problem. Why aren't they doing something? Is that we can name 15 different groups and I'm very proud of it. If you look at the endorsements, I'm 148 and probably not comment on that, but I will.
Okay, let's go back to where we were, somewhere around here. He was talking about something in his office.
Said we're giving them brand new Apache helicopters, one of the most incredible machines in the world.
We're not giving them brand new Apache helicopters, and they don't know how to fly them, and they need to be maintained, and they don't have the parts to maintain them, and so, no, it's not really that much of a deal. And by the way, all of the Apache helicopters that the U.S. military actually had in their possession were disabled, so they can't fly.
We're giving them aircraft. We're giving them brand new planes, hundreds of thousands of the top grade machine guns and rifles and goggles.
Machine guns and rifles and goggles and uniforms, yes. Those were given to the Afghan army by President Trump.
Night goggles. These people that did this, and that's Milley and Biden, they're incompetent people. And you know what? I spoke to numerous of the parents of those 13 soldiers that were killed. And I want to tell you, they know it better than anybody. Their children, those beautiful children, should be alive today because they were killed by incompetence.
Yep.
They were killed by ISIS-K,
the Taliban has, and
not
in a
ISIS-X.
Senate hearing today, Antony Blinken did confirm that the U.S. government gave the Taliban a list of Afghan nationals and U.S. officials and U.S. citizens' names, Mr. President. What should happen to the people who approved giving the Taliban this list?
Well,
it helped get those people out of the country. They're all out. All of them. And none of them were harmed. The Taliban have not hurt any Americans yet. Now, that could change tomorrow, but that list did its job. It ensured that all of those Americans got to the airport and were able to safely leave the country.
it just shows you how incompetent. Here they are. We're talking about we've been killing them for 20 years, and they've been killing us, by the way, and our people, our soldiers and people. But we've been killing them for 20 years, and they hand them a list of the Americans in Afghanistan and also other people that were.
And what happened?
Close that they probably didn't even know about. We gave them a list, we gave them the address, we gave them everything. Those people are in serious danger.
I don't know that we gave them the addresses. I do not know.
Now, it is the dumbest thing.
They're out. They've been evacuated, sir.
These people are the dumbest people. And Milley...
Some people are the dumbest people, yes.
Made it up. He made this story about me attacking China. Think of it. I'm going to attack China. What's the reason exactly, other than that?
So you just say you would never attack China. Got it.
They screw us on trade. You don't attack them for that. So what happens, and obviously COVID, what they did to us on COVID is outrageous.
And you don't attack them on that. You praise them for their transparency.
But that I was going to attack China in a very vicious way, but he was going to inform them when that will take place so they could be prepared. That is a treasonous statement, and I cannot tell you how many people called up about it. That is a...
Because nobody did.
Disgrace.
Mr. President, I want to shift gears. As you know, President Biden has sought to kick off 11 of your appointees to service academies, including my appointment that you gave me to the U.S. Naval Academy. If you ran for president again and won, excluding the statutory boards like the military service academies, would you kick off every Biden presidential appointee on day one on all of those other presidential commissions?
Well,
somebody's got a chip on their shoulder.
Might, because you know what he did is unprecedented, as you know. That
yes.
I mean, we have some incredible General Keane. We have great people on those boards, and for them to throw them off never happened before. And look, they're vicious people. That's all they're good at. They use prosecutors all over the place. They use local prosecutors, federal prosecutors, and yet Hunter Biden.
Trump, who appointed a record number of judges, all of whom are cowards, because he couldn't find anyone to rule in his favor on the election. So they're all cowards.
Just fine, okay? What they're doing is horrible. They're throwing all of these people off. These are great people, including you, Sean. These are great people. And it's not a long term. It's generally speaking, it's 3-year terms. And I think it's very disrespectful. For our country, it's very disrespectful. So, yeah, I guess I'd have to consider it. You know, he was going to be the great unifier. But he's not a unifier. He's the opposite. He's worse than Obama. Of course, Obama is probably running the government now anyway, according to many.
According to many. Such as? Do you want to give us an example? Anybody who would actually know?
Mr. President, I do want to ask you about this because it came out today that President Obama, Clinton, and Bush, they're all teaming up to raise money for Afghan refugees that are coming to the U.S. Is that something?
The people that helped us. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, the people that you didn't include in the negotiations when you surrendered to the Taliban. Okay.
That they ask you to be a part of as well? And if not, would you support it?
I support America. And I just heard that they are giving...
It's not a yes or no.
Billions and billions of dollars, $10 billion to Afghanistan, on top of the 85, think of it, on top of the $85 billion worth of the best military equipment ever produced anywhere in the world. They're giving $10 billion now in aid to Afghanistan. They're giving, I think I heard, $64 million a day. What about our country? What about our country?
Yeah, they want to do $3.5 billion in infrastructure for America. That's our country. And you keep telling us that that's ridiculous. So, yeah, what about our country?
Where do we get this kind of money? We're going to owe $32 trillion in a very short period of time. And that's a very important number, according to the economists, because when you hit that number, but we're going to be, we owe trillions and trillions of dollars. We're giving money like it's gravy.
That's a very important number to the economists, because when you hit that number, that's the end of that phrase. Let's go back and listen to it.
Important country. What about our country? Where do we get this kind of money? We're going to owe $32 trillion in a very short period of time, and that's a very important number, according to the economists, because when you hit that number, but we're going to be, we owe...
Yeah, because when you hit that number... Yep. But he's in perfect person, woman, man, camera, TV shape.
Trillions and trillions of dollars. We're giving money like it's gravy. Now, Afghanistan, surrounded by China and Russia and all these, it's their problem. Why aren't they doing something? They want to give them $10 billion. And I'll tell you why. Because they blew it so badly. We were going to get out with strength, with victory. We were going to get out with great. We were going to be so proud of that whole.
We were going to get out with great. It's a very important number but we were going to get out with great. He's losing it. It's getting worse, people. He's sundowning.
We wouldn't have 13 dead soldiers and many other soldiers badly injured.
Well, except for ISIS-X.
Which, by the way, nobody mentions. And
nobody mentions it. What are you talking about?
250 people dead from just that one attack. You wouldn't have had anybody dead. And it's such...
No. Hold on. You said that we're leaving Afghanistan, and part of the deal was that the Taliban were going to take care of the terrorists. Well, the terrorists killed those 250 people, sir, because you said we weren't going to do it anymore. We weren't going to take care of the terrorists. The Taliban were. That was the deal you signed with them.
That's a sad thing when you look at what's gone on.
It is a sad thing.
On over there. So they're going to give them $10 billion because it's a bribe. They want to bribe them into behaving because they've been totally disgraced by their withdrawal. Withdrawal like no other. Probably not only in this country, almost like in the world, because nobody's ever paid $85 billion worth of equipment when they left. There's never been a withdrawal like that.
Nobody's ever paid $85 billion worth of equipment when they left. Okay. Yep.
And people get killed. That we understand. It's horrible, and it's incompetence, and it should have never happened. But on top of everything else, we gave them the $85 billion worth of equipment. Now... No.
By the way, it's nowhere near $85 billion, but okay.
They want to give them $10 billion or $62 to $64 million a day. And... you know, I heard President Bush's speech over the weekend, and I said, this is...
By the way, the helicopter they're sitting in, it doesn't work.
This is the guy that got us into the quicksand of the Middle East, and he didn't win because he could have won, and he didn't win. Remember, he got on the aircraft carrier, and he made a fool out of himself. President Bush made the single biggest mistake in the history of our country, and that's getting into the quicksand of the Middle East. And then he couldn't finish the job. And now he's lecturing us and saying that al-Qaeda is more of a threat. I mean, think of it, that al-Qaeda, which is a big threat, that al-Qaeda, you look at, and I don't know if you've seen and you've looked at.
Can you finish the sentence, please? It's been 3 al-Qaedas.
Statistics that are people on the right, that are people in many cases that love our country, that they're worse terrorists than al-Qaeda. And then all of the others, that we can name 15 different groups, that the people on the right who love our country, they love it. Now, he doesn't mention, it's very interesting.
But they're domestic terrorists. By the way, the thing on the Saturday meeting thing, it's going to be mild. I do worry about a lone wolf. Specifically, we haven't caught the Nike bomber yet. The person who placed live bombs. These are bombs that could have worked outside not only the DNC headquarters, but the RNC headquarters as well. We still don't know, even though we have several minutes worth of footage of this person. We don't know who that person was. Or is. And they did not join the march, as far as we know. They did the bombing clandestine and didn't appear to know the area either. So arrived in D.C., that's what the FBI thinks. I don't know that for sure. But just the route that they took is pretty circuitous. It's not... If you knew what you were doing, then again, they could be doing it on purpose to throw the FBI off. One way or the other, no one knows who this person is yet, except that person. And they have not been corralled. And there are probably several other people like that person who might want to set off a bomb somewhere else in D.C. to draw everybody away. Anyway, but in terms of the people going to the rally and, it's going to be huge and there's going to be millions of people no.
He doesn't mention Antifa. He doesn't mention BLM, who killed people over the summer. You know, they killed a lot of people. They burned down cities, everything else. Nothing happens to them, but they go after the right, and it's a disgrace.
Well, I mean, BLM members have been arrested, prosecuted, and jailed, so that happens.
President Bush should apologize to the people of our country.
Mr. President, I know you made a bunch of endorsements today, political endorsements. Obviously, that is a big deal in Republican primaries when you make that endorsement. There are 2 big Senate races, Ohio and Missouri, where you haven't made an endorsement. In both cases, there are several what I would call pro-Trump Republicans running. Do you intend to endorse in either Ohio or Missouri?
Yeah, they're all Trump people. I mean, everybody running in Ohio is very, very pro-Trump. We just won a fantastic race, as you know, for Congress, and, of somebody who wasn't that well known and won by 30 points, and that was 2 weeks ago. And now I'm going to probably make a decision. But they're all pro-Trump, very pro-Trump. And in Missouri, a great place, they're all pro-Trump. That's the good news. Everybody's pro-Trump. We've come a long way, Sean, haven't we?
I know.
And you know what? If you look at and I'm very proud of it. If you look at the endorsements, I'm 100.
Oh, this is J.D. Vance. So J.D. Vance has been trying hard for that endorsement because whoever gets the Trump endorsement probably comes out of Ohio as the candidate for the Senate.
48-2. Think of it. 148 victories and 2 losses.
Really? 148 and 2 losses? Because you had those 2 losses chucked up several months ago. And then Larry Elder happened. This week. Why isn't it 3? Then the lady in Texas happened a month ago. Why wasn't it 4? Then Cincinnati. Why wasn't it 5? Anyway, it's always 2. Whatever it is, he just makes the first number bigger and goes with 2 on the other end. It's complete nonsense. His endorsed candidates lose all the time. Oh, sometimes they can win a Republican primary. Yay! Larry Elder.
And the 2 losses were the most...
For those of you just tuning in, Larry Elder lost the California primary by a margin of 2-1. Lost by 32, 34 points. I don't even know what the final count was. Somebody can look it up if they want to. But before the election, before the recall, which is basically if 50% plus 1 voted to recall Gavin Newsom, the governor, Democrat, then he would be done. And whoever got the most votes out of everybody else that was running, including Larry Elder, they would get to be the governor of California. And leading up to us, all we were hearing from the right was about how independents and Democrats are so angry at Biden, how they want their freedom and they're just so upset about everything. And they voted Newsom to stay in office by 30 plus points. It's just these independents and these Democrats that apparently were just fed up, they don't exist.
Most pro-Trump. I mean, they literally lost to people that were, I think they were more pro-Trump than the people that they lost to. So
what?
It's been an incredible thing. We're 148-2,
no,
and there has never been an endorsement like it, and that's because the people of our country respect us. They love our country.
Marcy thinks that the Nike bomber is a chick. That is entirely possible.
And they want to see our country succeed. And our country has gone really downhill in the last 8 months like nobody's ever seen before. And you go to these elections that are coming up in 22 and 24, we're not going to have a country left. The election was
We'll have a country.
rigged, and we're not going to have a country left.
Oh, there it is. The elections are all rigged, so don't bother voting, folks.
In 3 years. I'll
Mr.
tell
President,
you that.
You've been very generous with your time. Thank you for that. Before I let you go, I just got to ask this. You said that you've made up your mind about...
Are you going to run? Well, I don't want to address that right now. It's something I don't type out. Just keep donating to my campaign funds. Because it's not campaign funds, I just get to keep it.
Whether you're running again and that your supporters will be very happy about it. When do you plan on letting us know what that decision is?
I will probably not comment on that, but I will tell you...
It'll be a very short period of time. I'm going to be coming out with a tremendous healthcare package. I'll probably roll them out all together.
I think you will be very happy, Sean. I think you and a lot of other people that love our country are going to be very happy. I mean, I could make it soon, but, that gets complicated. But you are going to be extremely happy. And this country is going to come back again. We are a laughing stock all over the world. What happened in Afghanistan, what's happening at our border where millions of people are coming in. We have no idea who they are. It's a disgrace. What's happening to our country, and now they're going to rig another election today in California. You watch the results of that one. It's a disgrace what's going on.
Oh, yeah, he already called it rigged before. He knew Elder was going to lose. I mean, everybody knew Elder was going to lose. Basically, Newsom won. No one really lost. Newsom won. Huge.
On with the mail-in ballots and the voting, our country is not the same, but we're going to bring it back.
Mr. President, thank you for your time. I appreciate your generosity and look forward to having you back sometime soon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that happened today. Let's just check out C-SPAN quickly. I was go today, so I didn't really have a chance to watch anything. President Biden criticizes Florida and Texas governors' opposition to vaccine mandates. Let's see what featured clip is here. Let's see. This is a featured clip. Okay, during a speech on the economy, it's 1 minute and 32 seconds long. Let's see what he had to say about DeSantis and Greg Abbott.
The data shows...
Hold on. Let's pump this volume up. Pump up the volume and dance. I'll pump it all the way up to 420. Blaze on, Biden.
The overwhelming majority of Americans agree with my proposal. There's no surprise, given that 76% of American adults have already gotten at least one shot. But we're facing a lot of pushback, especially from some of the Republican governors.
Yeah.
The governors of Florida and Texas are doing everything they can to undermine the life-saving requirements that I proposed. And some of the same governors attacking me are in states with the strictest vaccine mandates for children attending school in the entire country. For example, in Mississippi, children are required to be vaccinated against measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, hepatitis B, polio, tetanus, and more. These are state requirements. But in the midst of...
Yeah, the military has 17 vaccines and requirements that they have to fulfill before they can even join. All these states, if you want to go to public school, you got to have all these vaccines. All over the South, that's the case. All over the country, all over the planet, that's the case. And yet now, because it's something that the Democrats support, we got to hate it. It's mind-boggling.
Of a pandemic.
Mind-bogglingly stupid.
That has already taken over 660,000 lives. I proposed a requirement for COVID vaccines, and the governor of that state calls it, quote, a tyrannical type move. A tyrannical type move?
Yep.
This is the worst kind of politics, because it's putting the lives of citizens of their states, especially children, at risk. And I refuse to give in to it. These policies are what the science tells us we need to do. They're going to save lives. They'll protect our economic recovery as well and allow the economy to continue to grow. We're also...
Okay. So that was the extent of that one. Let's see what else happened. Let's see if Jen Psaki had anybody pulled any clips out of that. What's the featured clip from this one? Secretaries Blinken and Austin news conference with Australian counterparts. Not much interesting going on there. Oh, so that's actually big news, is that we are giving Australia nuclear subs, which is a slap in the face to China, who want to control the South China Sea. They're building an island there. They're building their own naval island. So they're doing their Waterworld thing there. And we're like, okay, fine. We'll just outfit Australia with everything that they need. And you watch, the Australians will run. Actually, Australians, if anybody comes to Australia for any reason whatsoever, everything in Australia is designed to kill you. That's why nobody ever invades Australia. Let's see. Saki. Let us see if they've got it broken down by speakers. No, they don't. Here we go. That's a featured clip, but it's not something you guys would be interested in. Okay, moving on. Let's just watch a little bit of Jim Brewer and we're out of here. This is part of the video that he made.
I'm not sure I really go on Instagram live that much. I usually go on Facebook, which I was just on. Facebook, I go on a lot more, so. Oh, wait for a couple of bananas come on here.
All right, so the bananas. He's waiting for bananas. I want bananas. I was just eating bananas. He looks a little bit like someone else, and I don't know who. If you guys figure it out, let me know. Let's go a little further in here. This is where he starts preaching.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Come out and say he had COVID. And he told you how he got rid of it.
Ha!
I had COVID.
With ivermectin.
My wife with stage 4 cancer had COVID.
Oh.
My youngest daughter had COVID.
Okay.
It is curable.
Well, it clears.
Don't you think the world would stop if they truly cared about your health and your well-being? Don't you think they would have stopped for a second and went, wow, what did Joe Rogan do?
Yeah, the World Health Organization is going to look to Joe Rogan, who took ivermectin, the dewormer, the anti-parasitic. So if you got lice or a tapeworm, enjoy. It does not have an effect. There is no effect. In fact, I just had this discussion with somebody who's a reasonable person the other day. And she's like, there's 30 studies that all show from around the world. They all show that it's absolutely effective. And the Pfizer's blocking it in America because Pfizer's trying to make money off the vaccine. I was like, find me the study. Show me the study. Because it has been debunked. The numbers were faked, and the study itself, most of it was plagiarized. But pull it up for me. And she pulled it up for me. And I was like, well, here's an article from Nature magazine saying that it has been debunked, but, this Nature. But she pulled up the actual study for me. She found it. She said, this is just one of the many studies. I said, well, there aren't 33 studies, but let's take a look. And so we pulled up that study. And then I said, hold on a second. So we went back to the source, because this is a publication where they had all these studies. And sure enough, about 6-7 days later, there was another article in that same publication that said, oh, our bad, we're pulling this back. We're rescinding this whole article because the study was faked. Bye, Allison. Good luck. Are we wishing Allison good luck? I don't even know.
What do these people that are feeling better do? My hand to God.
But, well, more than 99% of the people who catch COVID survive COVID. Okay? Long before anybody was taking iodine or ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, 99 out of 100 people are going to walk away from COVID. Some of them are going to walk slowly. About a third of them are going to walk very slowly for a long time.
My hand to the almighty maker, whatever keeps us going in line in this lifetime.
What? He's high right now. Look at his eyes.
Someone very close in my circle,
Yeah.
fully vaccinated,
Yeah.
has COVID, getting
Yeah.
their ass kicked. Fully vaccinated.
Right? Yep, that's the way math works.
So when you have these venues, and let me tell you something, I'm starting to see big name entertainers, big sports stars. Listen, they've
Is he drunk or high? I think he's high right here.
sold their soul.
Yeah, we
If
saw this
you
part
only
earlier.
knew what
Let's go.
was the audacity.
The unmitigated gall.
To say the things they're saying and to put out there. You have someone out there saying people basically should die.
What?
They should die.
Okay.
You think that's a love thing? You think that's a positive thing?
Here, I got a positive for you. You should get the vaccine so you don't die. And you don't kill a bunch of other people. How about that?
That's driven.
Cindy thinks, D-Nice and Cindy both say hi. Yeah. I think he's high too. I think he's rolling high. Look at those eyes. You don't really get that lazy when you're drunk.
By two things: hate,
Yeah.
fear,
Fear. Yeah.
soulless.
That's not a motivating factor. Being soulless is not a motivation, but okay.
You got no spirituality going on behind that. You have no connection to humanity behind that. You're driven by.
Well, the connection would be, hey, we're all one humanity, and we'd like everybody to be vaccinated so we can stop dying of COVID. That's the humanitarian angle there.
A machine has no heart. A machine has no soul. A machine has no God. You're driven by money. Money has no soul. Money will
You're
kill
driven by
you.
money.
Money will enslave you.
Cash rules everything around me. Fools get the money.
So those that
dollar
are
bills, y'all.
saying these things, it's so convenient. The ones
It
with
is.
all the high play on top of their mountains.
Right? On their mountains.
That's the funny part.
He's so high. He is so wasted right now.
But I feel bad for them. I don't know what it's like to be a slave.
No.
I don't know what it's like to be a ego, vanity, money slave.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, the news went after him. CNN went after him
After him.
because he told you
What?
how he cured himself. And they actually tried to spin it and said he took horse pills. He didn't take horse pills. But there's enough people out there going, he took horse pills, he took horse pills. They even discolored his face when they showed it on television.
No. He took ivermectin. Ivermectin is what you give livestock to deworm them. So yeah, people are going to feed stores so they can get it without a prescription because we have terrible healthcare in this country. Or if they do have a doctor, their doctor's going to say, do not take ivermectin. It's for worms.
On CNN. That's evil.
Oh, this is Jim Brewer. He's a comedian who is canceling his shows if they are demanding vaccinations.
That's dark. That's demonic. That's also.
Anyway, I hope Jim gets help because he's seriously high in this. And if he's not, he's just messed up. There's something very wrong with Jim. Speaking of things that are wrong with Jim, maybe we'll talk about Jim Jordan later. I have to get going, kids. I have so much other stuff to do tonight, but hopefully tomorrow I'll get a chance. I got to take this studio down because people are coming to look at the TBD studios tomorrow. So I got to get that down and then clean everything, and then I go take a video of myself taking slap shots. Actually, Kevin Lee Daughter takes a video of me taking slap shots at 10:15 tonight. And that's about a 45-minute drive away. So I got a bunch of stuff to do. Everybody, be good to yourself. Don't do whatever Joe Rogan does to himself. Do not smoke or snort whatever the face on your screen has been snorting. Okay, kids, be good to yourself, be good to others, but most importantly, be good to Jim Brewer, because he needs a friend right now.